There's a lot of panic out there because the price dipped about $1,000 or just over $1,000. If you're not used to the price dropping $1,000, we're at like 100, we're at $114,500 as I'm doing this video right now. And there is panic right now. And the thing is, there's so much bullish news out there that I'm going to cover in this video. It would be crazy to be bearish at this point. I know there's a lot of people that, in the comments or whatever, because sentiment is really bad right now. In the comments and other videos that I've done in YouTube, I'm seeing people just miserable. They're like, well, there's probably not going to be an alt season. There's probably maybe Bitcoin has crashed already. Like we're not going to see an all-time high again. Guys, just relax. The thing is, Warren Buffett, okay, I don't really like bringing him up too much because he did bash Bitcoin when it was really cheap, and he really blew it in my opinion. He's one of those dinosaurs of finance, but what we can learn from him is that he is a long-term holder. He's richer than you, and he's made a lot of money not having to stare at his screen all the time. He probably doesn't even care what the stock price does of what his holdings are. You know why? Because he's a long-term investor. He understands what he's invested in. The people nowadays, they're just impatient. They leverage like $230 million worth of leverage shorts or longs getting liquidated. These are gamblers. These are, over leveraged people. These are people that have maybe issues, allowing them to mentally think it's okay to like gamble away their future. So these are the type of people that we're dealing with. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be a long-term holder because there's so much to be bullish on right now. We also have the crypto fear and greed index at 47 right now, but it actually feels like we're in fear mode right now because of all the negative comments that I'm receiving, all the depression that is happening. We're still at $114,500, guys. And check this out. We just had smart money right now. BlackRock is smart money. They just bought $513 million of ETH this week alone. Here's the thing. People think there's not going to be an alt season. I beg to differ, okay? And I've been saying this for a long time, been sticking my neck out like, hey, alt season is here, in my opinion. We just have to be a little bit more patient, but it's going to be a little bit of a different alt season, possibly because not every coin is going to skyrocket, okay? People are more picky. They understand that most of the coins out there are vaporware. It's garbage. It's complete trash. And I don't blame people for not wanting to deal with that. Okay, that's until retail gets in. When retail, which is dumb money, it sounds like a horrible saying, dumb money. It's just people that are financially uneducated, that are attracted to higher prices, and they just jump on anything. Like, say for instance, when Ripple is at, under $10, people are like, oh, that's really cheap compared to Bitcoin, but they don't understand market cap. They're not financially educated, okay? This is why you watch my channel, and there's several other channels that are very good as well that will educate you on the crypto space, how to invest wisely. Now, this next piece of news that I'm about to read is the most bullish news that you could possibly imagine for this week in crypto land. The US Treasury buys back $2 billion of its own debt, and the US has now bought back $12 billion of its own debt over the past 5 weeks. Wow, guys, this is absolutely crazy that they are buying back their own debt. Why are they buying back their own debt? They're printing currency to buy their own debt. This is the end game of an empire, guys. This is the end game. They're becoming the buyer and lender of last resort. This is the end game. If you look at Rome, you want to know how that collapsed or how that started to collapse. It was done by currency devaluation, massive currency devaluation, and an expansion that went too far outside the empire. I mean, it went from Europe, modern day Europe, all the way to the other side, to the far east. That is very dangerous because you have to print a lot of currency or devalue your currency to go ahead and do that. Now, that is exactly what happened with the denarius back in ancient Rome, and this is what's happening with the US dollar. As you know, the dollar has lost 98% of its value since 1971 when Nixon took the US off the gold standard. So here's the thing. There's the search results for credit card debt surpasses 2008 financial crisis. Now you may think, why are you bringing this up, Toby? It's because there's going to be massive stimulus packages that are going to be coming out that are going to have to help people out. You know, there's one thing that the elite know to do is keeping food on people's tables. If you stop that food from going on people's tables, that's when they revolt. They will not revolt on anything else. There's not going to be like a civil war or anything unless that government stops allowing food to be on that table because inflation is too high or whatever like that. So they are going to have to print and print and print like you've never seen before. Remember those stimulus checks that were buying crypto during 2020-21? So that's the same thing that is going to be happening with universal basic income, and that is why you have a stablecoin X being in place, because they're going to need to give out that money fast and easy, and that is a way for them to print and create more and more inflation, and people are going to thank their government because they're going to have food on their table because the US government has given them food. Now, this isn't just the US. This is going to happen worldwide, in my opinion. Now, who has all the money now? It's the people that are invested in Bitcoin and inflation hedges. I can prove it right here. The share of the top 10% of consumers now account for 49.2% of all consumer spending, the highest level in data dating back to 1989. By comparison, this share was 43.2% in Q4 of 2019. So what is happening right now? People are becoming poorer and poorer and poorer, and the rich are becoming richer and richer and richer because they're invested in inflation hedges. So that just proves that this whole 2.18% inflation that the US government says that's happening right now is completely fabricated. I mean, anybody with a brain that can critically think a little bit knows that inflation's not at 2.18%, because if it was, that would not show up as much as what is happening right here. I'm giving you real world examples right now. Okay, so now you also have the top 1% of US earners having more wealth than the entire middle class. What have I been saying since the tariffs and before the tariffs went out? The middle class are a dying breed. They will not be existing in the next 5 years. I don't think there's going to be any middle class in the United States over the next 5 years. It's just going to be wealthy and the people that are investing in inflation hedges and those that are not. And it's going to be a massive wealth divide. There's nothing you can do about it, guys. There's nothing. You can't vote your way out of this. This is just part of a collapsing empire, in my opinion. Okay, President Trump also says that AI is taking over the world. Here's proof for this. The US economy shed 12,000 manufacturing jobs in August, the second largest drop since October 2024. This marks the fourth consecutive monthly decline, the longest streak since the 2020 pandemic. So that's one thing that you're going to have to pay attention to, is because they're going to print so much currency. What loves currency printing? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be a really good help during this time of massive inflation. This is going to be on top of AI as well, because AI is going to take a lot of people's jobs, which is going to even fuel the universal basic income, which is going to be done with stablecoins. So I know that's a lot to take in, but there's a lot of bullish stuff for people that are investing in Bitcoin. That's just one of the things that we do at Learning Crypto, is we teach people how to invest wisely, how to not be such short-term emotional traders that are super bummed after every single little tiny correction like we're having right now. It's getting pathetic at this point, but I'm here to hold people's hands, and that's fine. But listen, like, guys, I can't hold your hands all the time. Like, you're gonna have to learn to relax and not worry about a $1,000 drop in Bitcoin. We are still very close to all-time highs. So if you do want to check us out, learningcrypto.com, you'll be able to see what we're buying, what we're selling, when we're going to buy the bear market, because there is going to be a bear market. All right, talk to you soon.